Welcome back. We're going to talk about, yes, the future. Why? Because we're creating it now. And the more I talk about it, and the more I help you to become aware of what has been said in the past, the predictions, what they are, and how we can actually affect them, you and I can control anything. And I mean that. The most cataclysmic events, they never have to happen. Okay, there may be a version of them because we have to undo some of the damage that we've done in the past, but we're going to talk today about the Hall of Records. Get ready for humanity to shift. And we're looking at, yes, 2026. Three prophets, I'm going to tell you who they are, predicted that the Hall of Records would be found in the Sphinx. Science confirmed it exists. I'm going to talk about that. But Edgar Cayce revealed why it remains hidden. Humanity must evolve to the fifth root race before the Hall of Records can be opened. I'm going to share with you what that is because we can evolve into the fifth root race. Now, it's up to you. We're not just searching for an ancient chamber. We're in the middle of a species-wide spiritual evolution that will determine if we're worthy of the knowledge inside. I'm going to tell you what he says that knowledge is, when he says it will appear, and it looks like it's lining up for March, April of 2026. I'm going to explain why. Let's go. Welcome to Landria Unc on YouTube. I'm all about telling you that you are so much greater than you can imagine. You are not this body. You are an adventure. We're playing out a play. All these things that we talk about, December 21st, 2025, a big gateway is opening. We're going to talk more about that. March 20th, 2026, we have a convergence astrologically that opens things up. We're going to talk about who shared that with us, real facts, and whether it's going to happen or not. It is up to us because we have to reach the frequency that allows these things to happen, and it's all waiting for us. We're getting there. So I hope you'll subscribe because I'm going to help you break through fear. Fear holds you back and it limits you. We're going to end fear. Well, actually, we're just going to break through it. Fear can work in your favor. What stops you from jumping off a bridge? So let's talk about how we can function as human beings here. What's going to start occurring, and it's happening now. It's happening for me. Psychic abilities. You're going to see abundance show up in miracles, healings. Your psychic abilities will expand. You're going to have experiences you never imagined possible. And people are going to know this is real stuff. They don't burn us at the stake anymore for that. So I hope you subscribe, share my videos, like them, because that tells YouTube that you love this stuff. You love to know that you can make a change on this planet. You love to know that right now, you are evolving into something great. Yes, you, little old you are that important. All right. I have free stuff in my description also. I'm going to discuss that later on. You're going to love it. It's going to help you go into abundance, go past fear, start to create money. We're going to talk about that later because every area of your life has to be in a high frequency in order to accomplish what we're going to talk about today. So let's talk about the ancient chamber that will change everything. Why? For 10,000 years, it's been waiting, hidden beneath the great Sphinx. The right paw, guarded by ancient sentinels, containing the complete records of Atlantis and the spiritual destiny of humanity. It's going to shock the heck out of us. I think there are 31 tablets that this information is on. 3 prophets saw it. I'm going to go through each of these prophets and what they said. Science is confirming it. We already know this. And 2026 may be the year it finally opens. If you've heard of Chris Bledsoe, he's had some amazing experiences, believe them or not. And he says April of 2026, when the Red Star Regulus, yes, I know Regulus isn't a red star, but it will appear red over the Sphinx at dawn, there will be a new beginning, a new era of the feminine. A massive shift is going to happen, and it takes you and I right now. So this is the story of the Hall of Records and why Edgar Cayce said that only those who have spiritually prepared, this is why I make these videos, only those who have spiritually prepared themselves will be worthy of discovering it. Stay tuned because I'm going to share with you why you play an important role right now that determines what will happen in the coming months that could change humanity. And I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do. Watch my other videos, but I'm going to tell you once again what needs to be done for you to get in alignment with the high frequency And then you'll see, you'll be in the penthouse, you see what's going on. You're in the basement, you don't know what's going on, right? People, nothing shifted. And I'm going to tell you, well, not if you're in the basement. It is a individual choice. This is what I want really get clear. It is not happening to everyone. It is free will choice, and everyone is included. So in the 1920s and 30s, three different prophets working independently, never having met, all received the same vision. Bet you didn't know there were three, right? Beneath the Great Sphinx of Egypt lies a chamber containing the complete records of Atlantis and humanity's true origins. This is going to align with disclosure and some other things that are going to shock the heck out of us. And then we're going to realize, well, wait a second, that makes perfect sense, right? The first one was H.C. Randall Stevens. He saw it in psychic visions. Harvey Spencer Lewis claimed his ancient Rosicrucian order had preserved the secret for millennia. Edgar Cayce described it in stunning detail while in trance. So then in 1982, Stanford Research Institute found exactly what they predicted. Evidence of hollow chambers beneath the Sphinx right paw. And here it went all the way to the Nile, and seeing pyramids underneath the ground. They're now starting to discover that. So here's what almost no one talks about. Edgar Cayce didn't just predict where the hall is. He revealed why it remains sealed and what must happen to humanity before it can be opened. And according to his readings, we're living in the exact time frame. Yes, those of you say he never gave a time frame. Yes, he gave events and things that are happening, culminating right now. It's already in play. We're already past the tipping point. We're living in the exact time frame when that transformation is supposed to occur. Again, we're still in control. And if we choose greed, separation, judgment, somebody told me that I need to stop wearing a hat and wear colors. I know a dictator that used to tell people what to do. We have to be aware and conscious, become one beautiful community that celebrates our differences because we are actually one. That transformation is supposed to occur, and I believe that we are doing it now. And as Edgar Cayce said, 10 people, just 10 people can change a city, 50 can change the world. In other words, he's telling us that in numbers, we are powerful, and we do not have to be the majority to make that happen. So don't think it's overwhelming. But what about them? No, what about this? But like Cayce's and other prophet readings, we control the events and timing of this all. And he said that it's up to us. And he even said his predictions never have to come true. A lot of them haven't. Will 2026 bring us to the stunning reveal of what humanity truly is? Or will we remain in turmoil? We get to choose. And you could live in abundance in heaven and have all the answers. And someone else will say nothing's happening. We're the same old greedy, separate planet fighting with one another. So let's talk about the Hall of Records and the spiritual evolution of the human race. The three prophets. So H.C. Randall Stevens. So beginning in late 1920s, he's a British veteran. Stevens claimed he began receiving psychic communications from ancient Egyptian initiates. They showed him detailed underground passages and initiation chambers beneath the Giza Plateau. Nope, wasn't a tomb. We already know that, right? In his 1935 book, A Voice Out of Egypt, he published intricate diagrams. I've never even heard of this guy. He published intricate diagrams of what he saw, a complex network of tunnels connecting the pyramids to the Sphinx, with a central chamber containing ancient records. Well, we've all wondered, who built the pyramids? This is way beyond. What's it used for? These things will all be revealed, and it's way beyond what humanity tries to figure out, right? We can't even build those now. Just 1 year later, Harvey Spencer Lewis, founder of the Rosicrucian Order, AMORC, and having no known connection to Randall Stevens, published the symbolic prophecy of the Great Pyramid. Incredibly, his diagrams of underground chambers were nearly identical to Randall Stevens. Lewis claimed this knowledge came from his esoteric organization's records, preserved since ancient Egyptian mystery schools. I love that. So we know the third prophet, Edgar Cayce, 1933 to 1941. It was Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet, who provided the most detailed and specific information. So between 33 and 41, while in his trance state, Cayce gave multiple readings about what he called the Hall of Records, okay? The location under the Sphinx right paw, between the Sphinx and the Nile River. So it's not just a chamber here. He said that there are passages that go all the way to the Nile River. Stone tablets containing the complete history of Atlantis. Records from when the spirit took form in that land. When spirit took form in that land. Oh, I've got to hear that. That's fascinating. Advanced technology, including crystal energy systems. And I believe this is what they use to build the pyramids. Whoever they are, we're going to find out. The law of one spiritual teachings will be there. And thank you. One of my subscribers said they would like me to shoot videos on the law of one. And I think we'll be doing that very soon. And it's going to expose a timeline of humanity's spiritual evolution, because we're not just about, we were apes or whatever you think we are, or skipping the DNA. What we're going to find out is this has been a spiritual evolution, and we are less body than we are spirit. And we're going to learn so many things about ourselves and start to use that. Some of you might be using it now. Get ready. We're going to talk a lot about that. Oh my gosh, we have so much to talk about. So let's talk about the cosmic key. I'm going to give you a reading 378-16. This in position lies. As the sun rises from the waters, the line of the shadow, or light, falls between the paws of the Sphinx, which may not be entered from the connecting chambers from the Sphinx paw, right paw, until the time has been fulfilled, when the changes must be active in the sphere of man's experience. My dear friends, this is why we are being urged to elevate our spiritual state. He's saying we have to spiritually be ready for this to occur, and not just anybody can walk in there. When this happens, amazing gifts will be granted in addition to your own abilities, from healing to instantaneous manifestations, abundance, global peace. You guys can start experiencing that right now. That last part's me, by the way. 1982, Stanford Research Institute conducted acoustic soundings beneath the Great Sphinx, and what they found shocked researchers. Dead spots indicating hollow chambers directly under the Sphinx right paw, exactly where Cayce said they would be. Now, Cayce said, when the sun rises and we have the shadow between the paws, that is aligned with Chris Bledsoe's prediction, when the red star Regulus will rise above the Sphinx and there will be a dawning of the new era, the feminine era. This is all going to happen. And he gave a specific date. He said April 2026. So that one is not maybe that's going to happen, but you won't participate in it. You'll say, big deal, nothing happened. The sun came up, red star Regulus came up. What's the big deal? This relies on you. So a decade later, Thomas Dobecki, after Stanford found that, used advanced seismography and discovered evidence of what appears to be a man-made chamber beneath the Sphinx's right paw, and the data suggested a rectangular cavity approximately 9 meters by 12 meters. The age question. Geologist Robert Schoch's water erosion. He said that because of this, 7 to 10,000 years old, not the conventional 4,500 years. And if true, this aligns perfectly with Cayce's claim that it was built around 10,500 BCE by Atlantean refugees. It now aligns. Our research, science is now saying, looks like Cayce was right. So the mystery deepens. Despite this evidence, no major excavation has been permitted. Why? Some researchers believe the Egyptian government fears what might be found. It's that powerful. Others suggest the chamber has already been discovered and the contents are too disrupted to reveal. There's been all kinds of activity out there that we don't know about. Maybe the Egyptian government's already been in there, but Edgar Cayce's readings suggest a different reason entirely, and this is where you come into this amazing adventure. Here's what makes Edgar Cayce's prophecy radically different from typical treasure hunt predictions. He said the hall won't be opened by archaeologists, technology, or excavation. What? Okay, I've never heard that. It will only be revealed when humanity undergoes a fundamental spiritual evolution. That's what you and I are working on right now. You feeling a difference? I am. Things are changing. My body's changing. What I'm doing for a living is reaching out more and more to you. What are you doing? You have to do it in every area of your life. Don't be going to fast food and buying any plastic. We're done with that. Let's talk about the fifth root race. Reading 5748-6, Cayce stated, I'm giving you reading numbers now, this may not be entered without an understanding, for those that were left as guards may not be passed until after a period of their regeneration in the mount, or the fifth root race begins. The fifth root, we talk about 5D. That is when humanity goes to a higher frequency of five-dimensional living, thinking, and we are now a community that no longer goes into separation judgment. And by the way, all the other things out there that are going to happen, you're going to see some crazy stuff happen, the financial markets, all of it, it's going to collapse. It has to. We don't want to hang on to that. So be okay with that. You have to be the creator. Not looking at that, what's wrong? Create. How do we live now? Some of you are building gardens, you're reusing your stuff, you're sharing. I just had a party here Saturday. I have all these gifts under here. I recycled all kinds of beautiful things that I've never used before to my friends, all my jewelry and things. They loved it. I was sitting in a box doing nothing. What is a root race? In Cayce's cosmology, echoing theosophical teachings, humanity evolves through 7 root races. Major evolutionary stages of consciousness. The first root race, pure spiritual beings, non-physical. Non-physical. That's the first. That means that's the first existence is what he means. We're not saying dimensions here. Second root race, semi-etherical, beginning of form. So you might see orbs, white light beings. That's what that is. The third root race, Atlantean period, height of materiality. But they could go back and forth, right? They could transform. They were out of their bodies. They started to form as human beings. Fourth root race, us, current humanity, ego-dominated consciousness, pulled into the body, more material world than the expansive, etheric, beautiful quantum space, which we can go into anytime. It's your choice. But if you're hanging on to this, not going to happen. The fifth root race, which is actually 5D, is the coming stage, spiritual awakening while in physical form. Isn't this cool? So have you seen the telepathy tapes? All these kids, these non-speaking autistic kids, they're going into this space outside their bodies that don't function very well for them. They're going into this space of communications with one another. And the message they're telling us is that this everyone has access to, but you're so caught up in your material world and greed and separation that you can't even access it. We're going to start to do that now. If you're working on yourself right now, let's do it before December 21st because it's a huge gateway opening. We're in the transition now from the fourth to the fifth root race. It is still a choice. So let's talk about the guardians. Cayce spoke of guardians left by the Atlanteans to protect the hall. These aren't physical guardians. They're consciousness-based protections. What? They're consciousness-based protections. So this is why no one can enter the Hall of Records, because you have to have that key that opens it up. It's more on a consciousness-based level. In other words, it's not going to happen. It's protecting it. So no archaeologist can enter, and there's 3 people supposedly that will qualify to do that. Think of it as a vibrational lock. The hall exists at a frequency that's invisible to the fourth root race consciousness. Only when humanity collectively evolves to fifth root race awareness will the guardians step aside and allow entry. That's how it works. You say, well, what's going to stop us from blowing the paw up, getting in there? Not going to happen. It is protected. Things will happen to stop that unless it is those 3. There's supposedly 3 people that will qualify to do that. And things are going to happen for us. And who knows? I'm very excited for this. So this explains why we have scientific evidence of chambers but can't access them. Why thousands walk past the Sphinx daily, yet the Hall of Records remains hidden. And even with modern technology, we can't seem to locate the entrance. The hall isn't physically locked. It's dimensionally sealed, waiting for humanity to evolve. This all rests on us. So the 3 who will enter, here's a reading, one of Edgar Cayce's readings, 5748-6. As was set in those records Of the law of one in Atlantis, there will come three who will make of the perfect way of life. They may be just common people, but they will be on a high frequency. These three individuals will have achieved a balance in their spiritual, their mental, and their material experiences that makes them representatives of the new consciousness, the fifth root race. You can be one of those. Maybe you won't be one of the three that goes into the paw of the Sphinx, but you can be a part of the fifth root race. All of us can. That's what I'm hoping you'll work on right now. They won't force their way in. They'll be invited by the guardians when the time is right. We don't know what that means, but I think it's super cool. So the real prophecy, here's what Edgar Cayce was really predicting. The Hall of Records is both a literal chamber and a metaphor for humanity's awakening. It's both. It is real. The external, I mean physical, the external discovery mirrors and depends upon our internal evolution. Signs were in the transition. Cayce predicted that the shift from fourth to fifth race would be accompanied by, and this is why I believe it's happening now, magnetic pole shifts, currently happening at 3 times normal speed. Earth changes, increasing earthquakes, climate disruption, massively happening now. Social upheaval, breakdown of old systems and structures. Yep, that's happening. Technological leaps, yes. Rapid advancement in human capability. That's happening. Spiritual awakening, mass numbers seeking deeper meaning. More people are going away from religion and going into spirituality. Why? They know that spirituality is much bigger, and religion can keep you in a box. This is how things are. You could tell people off. No, it's this way. You're still in the fourth root race. All of these are occurring right now. So the 2026 timeline, research by Kirk Nelson, shows that March 20th, 2026 has the most powerful, and I'm going to do a video on this, has the most powerful astrological alignment in 35 years, similar to the November when the Berlin Wall fell and a new era of freedom began. So there'll be events that happen that tell us our world just changed again. Cayce originally predicted the Hall would be discovered between 96 and 98, but added the crucial qualifier, when the time has been fulfilled. So yes, his dates were off. Why? We didn't pull our weight. We didn't make it happen. We're still out there fighting and doing stupid crap. So perhaps 98 was too early. Perhaps we needed another generation to raise consciousness. Perhaps 2026 is when humanity finally crosses the threshold. It sure looks like that everything is pointing to that. What fifth root race really means. So here's where you come in, and I'm going to explain right now what has to happen for you to go into the fifth root race, the fifth dimension. Moving from ego separation to unity awareness. If you're telling me to stop wearing my hat and that I need to wear something different, you are not in the fifth root race. You're still separating, telling people what to do. Are you arguing with people? Are you arguing politics? Are you watching the news? You're still stuck in ego separation. That is not unity awareness. Balancing material success with spiritual wisdom. So I've shared with you guys, mind over money. It's a free quiz. Are you in lack? I tell people, you can have abundance, but balance the material success with spiritual wisdom. That's what we do with Digital Explorers. I teach my students how to have planet conscious, purposeful businesses. Abundance is welcome. Material goods are welcome, but we balance it. Are you doing that? Are you doing something for a living that's destroying the planet, not good for you or your family? Using technology in harmony with nature. AI, nothing wrong with AI, nothing wrong with money. It's what you put into it and what you take out of it, all right? All of these could be beautiful tools for us. It's the humans that are in charge, recognizing we're all connected. If you are looking at somebody as an enemy or you're angry at them, you're separating yourself. You don't understand that that is the human form and they're our best teachers and that we all came here together and that we are all one. We affect one another. So your hatred or your anger, you're not contributing to that fifth root race, nor will you live in it, while others can without you. You're going to be activating dormant spiritual abilities, intuition, healing, higher perception. Amazing stuff's going to happen. Or, I've discussed some of it's happening for me. Again, living from love rather than fear. This is why my channel is about breakthrough fear. We're going to live from love. You're going to find it. When somebody gets angry, you're just going to look and say, oh, they're in so much anger and hate, and They're not feeling love. They're not feeling compassion. They're coming from something. And I send them love. That's the only way that you can change other people on the planet, not by telling them what they need to do. So not everyone will make the shift at once. Cayce taught that a critical mass, enough people embodying this new consciousness, would trigger the collective evolution. This is how it works, peeps. Yes, peeps means people. Why the hull must remain sealed. Imagine if the hull was discovered tomorrow and we found advanced Atlantean technology that could be weaponized. See, this is why we don't want things to move forward faster than they should. Spiritual knowledge that could be corrupted by ego. Historical truths that would destabilize current power structures and people would go ballistic. Proof of humanity's divine origin and capabilities. Uh-oh, all those higher ups that try and control the little people, they would lose that power as soon as we find out everyone's divine and has unlimited capabilities. And that is true now. But if the world learned that, some people would feel very threatened by that. In the hands of fourth-rate consciousness, still dominated by greed, separation, fear, this knowledge could be catastrophic. Those of you who believe that we do have neighbors out there and that we have craft that has been recovered, I can tell you right now, there's no nation on the planet that isn't trying to use that in a way to control and dominate. That means we're not ready. The guardians aren't keeping us out. They're protecting us until we're ready. So what does it mean for our time? Every person who meditates, raises their consciousness, chooses love over fear, serves others selflessly, seeks truth over comfort, heals their trauma and shadow. Heal, heal, heal. Lives in integrity is contributing to the collective shift that will unlock the hall. All right? Not by magic, by spiritual law. When humanity reaches a tipping point, it's actually one chapter in my book. It's called The Tipping Point. We're already in it. I talk about what's happening there, what's going to be happening, and how you can go into that fifth root space. So come on over. This could be the last spiritual book you ever have to read. When enough of us embody fifth root race consciousness, the vibrational frequency of the planet will rise to match the frequency of the hall. Just tune it in. That's all. No big deal. And then the three representatives who've achieved perfect balance will walk between the paws as the shadow falls, and the guardians will welcome them. We may not even know it's happening. We may be beyond the 3D world that we're seeing. It could be in a spiritual space, and it could be amazing, and we'll feel it and experience it, but only if you go into 5D, fifth root race. So let's wrap this up. 3 prophets saw it coming. Science proves something's there, but Edgar Cayce revealed the deep truth. The Hall of Records isn't waiting to be dug up. It's waiting for humanity to rise up. The fourth root race, dominated by ego, separation, and material obsession, it's dying by choice, right? It's by choice. People are done. It's not working. The fifth root race, characterized by spiritual wisdom, unity consciousness, and balanced living, is being born. Time to get rid of all the stuff, the bad stuff. It's not good for you. It's not good for the planet. Don't buy your kids plastic for Christmas, please. Yeah, try and tell them, that what their future looks like because you made those choices. And we're the transition generation. All of us on the planet are the transition generation. The upheaval you're witnessing in the world isn't random chaos. It's the birth pangs of a new humanity. So put on your seatbelt. It's going to get much more rocky. But it's going to be celebrated because we're going to realize, it's finally collapsing. It's making way for new things. And it won't. The new beautiful things cannot step in and take over unless the old stops working and we're not using it anymore. It collapses, right? The Hall of Records will be discovered not when we get better excavation equipment, but when we become better humans. So yes, there are 3 specific individuals who will one day walk into the chamber, but their ability to do so depends on all of us raising the collective consciousness high enough that the guardians recognize humanity is ready. Are you ready? You are absolutely perfect. So again, I hope you'll share this video. Let people know there's something beautiful happening and you're a part of it. It's not happening to us. We are happening. And the more you practice this, the more you can live in a life you never imagined was possible for you. So beautiful. And nobody can explain it to you because it's going to be here and it's going to feel so amazing. You're going to see things that are beautiful and you realize there's nothing to ever fear. Nothing ever has control over you. Some of you said, things are holding me back. I said, no, nothing holds you back. You're equally powerful. It's only if you believe it. So Let's go into that space of love, compassion. This is going to test you. But what about? I said, what about this? Because this shines light on everything. You can't bring dark into a room of light, but you can bring light into a room of dark. That's why the 50 people over the 10 or the 50 that can change the world, doesn't matter if there's another 50 in 3D. The 50 in light will shine the light brighter and brighter. Please join me for this. You are whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. And by the way, once again, go down into the description. I have free inspiration I have a brand new email series coming out. It's called The Unlimited Soul Journey. I'm going to create that for you. You're going to get a free Breakthrough Fear Masterclass. Those of you who want to just deal with lack, mind over money is a separate email list that talks about why are you living in lack, and it's going to consume your energy and take you into negativity. And you're going to look and say, wait a minute, I'm actually doing that in other areas of my life. You could live abundantly. So that's free. It's a free quiz you can take. And of course, I have courses and master classes. And then digitalexplorers.net. It's for those who want to create planet happy businesses. Actually, it's a purposeful business. What I do is I work with you and say, what do you want to do with your life? And we spend time figuring that out. What do you love? What are you passionate about? What purpose do you want to bring to this planet? It's sort of a cross between business training and spiritual training. And then we create that beautiful business, spiritually minded business that balances abundance with the material world. All right? You don't have to give this up. You don't have to be poor to be spiritual. You are whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. That's from the Master Key System. We're going to study that too in the future. So much to talk about. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.